So I have discussed total potential energy method last time. So you define pi is equal to U minus W. So this is strain energy. This is potential of external loads. How do you solve any problem? You have a geometry. You divide it in terms of loads. Then you say you have nodal displacements, which your unknowns. So you have got displacements. If it is a 2D problem, you have got only these two. If you have a 3D, you also have displacements in Z direction. So displacement in X, Y, and Z directions. So once you have the displacement, you can find strains. Strains you can find from this expression. So already you know U is equal to NIUI. So these I and J are 1, 2, 3. These are different. Okay. Let's call it then K. So K is the number of nodes in the elements. So you can find your strains. Epsilon XX will be. You see, I told you how to find derivatives of shape functions. So you take any element, but you always use a local coordinates. So this mapping goes for this element. This is XYL in global coordinates. So you make computations with the help of local coordinates. So always you are finding strain energies. You have to find strain energy, you have to integrate over the volume. And what is the strain energy expression? If your material is linear, this is the expression you get into volume. So how do you calculate this integral? Vijendra Prasad, how will you calculate this integral? You see, I just taught you numerical integration. You use numerical integration. For numerical integration, you just take Gauss points. Suppose you are using 4 Gauss points. So you use plus minus 1 by root 3. These are your Gauss points. This will be plus 1 by root 3, 1 by root 3. Similarly, this will be minus. So you see, and on these Gauss points, what are your weights? Weights are 1, 1. So this is the simplest rule. So you have to calculate this integral by calculating this expression over these 4 cost points. So you will get sigma so you get your stresses at these coordinates. Any doubts with this? And this also be Jacobian. Whether we should call it eta. Vijender Prasad.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Fine. Yes, sir.
Half for half. Sigma ij,
Yes,
you
sir.
have to find stress at that cost point. Strain at that cost point. Then you need Jacobian at that point. So Jacobian tells the volume around that L point. So this will cover the volume. And these are the integration weights. So this you have to sum. So you need stresses, all the stresses you will need. Sigma xx, epsilon xx, sigma yy, epsilon yy, sigma xy, gamma xy. So then for a 2D element, you have found the total strain energy. Is it okay? So knowing how to do integration is important. Now you have potential of the external loads, W. So W will be some applied load at some point and displacement at that point. So this is if there are point loads. And if there is a distributed load, then it will be an integral of distributed load into displacement dot product. So this you have to integrate over the domain. Plus suppose there is a surface force, there are tractions, then you have force in x direction. So these are the tractions in XYZ direction, and you have to integrate over the area, whatever is the area. Okay. So this is a volume integral, this is a surface integral. So this is potential of the external loads. So how to calculate? Suppose this is a force at a point K. So if you know the coordinates of, if it is one of the nodes, so you have to just say, suppose this node is 100 node, P into U100. Suppose this is part of an element, then you will have to say P into shape function, and whatever is the at position 100, whatever is the local coordinate. Suppose xi and eta are the local coordinates. So you will have to calculate ni, ui. So these ni are corresponding to the xi eta coordinate. So you will calculate shape function in the element, all the nodes, multiply with the corresponding displacement. So that way it will give you displacement of this node. So xi eta correspond to this node where force is applied. And that will be the work done. It will be just calculated straight away. But here you are doing integration over a domain. So here integration over a surface area. So you can use numerical integration. What is a numerical integration? Again, you are using summation. You are using, you see, it is a volume integral. So it depends. If it is a 2D domain, you will use Wi, Wk, Wl. K will be 1 to 2, L will be 1 to 2. If it is 2 by 2 Gauss integration, then you need Jacobian at xi k, eta L. Then body force. Body force is distributed. Body force, if depends on the position, you will have to find body force for x corresponding to xi k, eta L. Then you need all the coordinates. Xi k, eta L. Suppose you have got only xy coordinates, and you need body force at in direction x. And displacement, again you will to take n, ni, ui. These are your nodal nodes of the element. I is node of element. And these shape functions you are calculating at xi k, eta L. So this way you calculate your this domain integral. Similarly for these terms. Vijendra Prasad, any problem?
No, sir.
Do you think anything is wrong? It is making sense to you? Okay. So this is the way you do your integrals. Now I want to find pi is u minus w. So on what values this u and w depend? They are depending on displacements at different nodes. Okay. So many nodes are there in the body. Now, how will you minimize pi? So these are your unknowns. So with respect to unknowns, you will say del pi by del ui is 0. Del pi by del vi is 0. So as many unknowns, so many equations. So suppose you have got a body which has got, suppose 100 nodes are there. So how many degrees of freedom is there? How many unknowns are there? If each node has two coordinates, two displacements, u1, v1. So you have 100 into 2, 200 unknowns. So how many equations you need to solve 200 unknowns? 200 equations. So this will give you same number of equations. You are finding the minimum of this pi by taking derivative with each of them 0. So I goes from 1 to 100, I goes from 1 to 100. Is it okay? So you are generating the same number of equations as they are your unknowns. Now your U is, you will see you can write your U as sigma epsilon sum of integral half. So what is your stress? What is your strain? Strain you can write as B. This I had done earlier. This is your vector. You call it Q vector. Q is what? Coordinates of the element U1, V1, U2, V2. Whatever the number of nodes in the element. And B represents del y del x, 0, 0, del y del y, del y del y, del y del x. So such operations are needed. So this gives you strain. And how do you get stress? You multiply by D. So this is your stress, total thing. And if you, this multiplication you can write as sigma transpose epsilon. This is like a dot product. So how do you write your stress? Q transpose V transpose D transpose. Now what is your epsilon? Again B and Q. So this is your total strain energy. So this you are integrating over the volume. So further there is an integration exercise. Now if you want to take its derivative with respect to any coordinate u, v or w, so you're basically taking your derivative of this with respect to Q matrix, Q vector. So what will be, this is a constant. This is your K matrix, element matrix. So this derivation, what you will get answer? K and Q. This is the way you get. This will be derivative of this matrix. So what do you see? This, if you do this kind of a multiplication, what you will get? Your answer should be, what answer you will get after multiplying K with Q? K is some n by n. Q is n by 1. So what is the order of this matrix? Vijendra Prasad.
Yes, sir. It's n by 1.
So what is the meaning of n by 1? That is my question. What do you understand is the meaning of n by 1?
So it's a single entity, sir.
It's a
It's a column
vector.
column
But
vector.
what is the meaning?
So it is a this strain energy at each point.
What does first column of the matrix mean? What does second mean? What does third?
So force at 1, force at node 2, force at node 3.
With respect to this, I want with respect to this. Look, this del u by del q is coming as kq. Kq
Yes.
after multiplication looks like this. So what is first term of this vector? Second term, third term. Look, strain energy, is it a scalar or a vector?
Strain energy is a scalar, sir.
Very good. If you take its derivative with a vector, this q is a vector.
Yes, sir. It would be
What
a
is the
vector.
answer? What
A
you will
vector.
get as an answer?
Vector.
Very good. Now you see there are how many terms in this vector?
And
This vector is having u1, v1, u2, v2. So as many unknowns, so many terms in this vector. You get it?
yes, sir.
So same number of terms will be here. First time you are taking derivative of strain energy with respect to u1, you get first term. Then you take with v1, you get second term. Third term, this term, third term. You get it? So this is a shortcut of doing this derivative, that you have got this answer. Get my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see, this is nothing but derivative with individual of each of them. That is why you're getting it. You know, if you take derivative of a scalar, I don't know if I told you this, with a scalar. What do you get? Scalar or a vector?
Scalar.
Suppose you take derivative of a scalar with a vector. What do you get?
The vector, sir.
Suppose you take derivative of a vector with a vector. What do you get?
It would be vector, sir.
You will get a matrix. Now I'll give you the example. Suppose you take, what do you take? You know your function y is equal to x square. You see x is a scalar, y is a scalar. So your derivative dy by dx is a scalar. Now you take potential energy, like gravitational potential energy. Call it phi is equal to mgz. Now you want to find force. Force is given as gradient of phi. So you say, so here you have taken derivative of phi with respect to position vector. So you have to take derivative with respect to each coordinate x, y, z. So it is a vector. Now suppose you take derivative of velocity. You have a velocity field, and you take the derivative with position. So what you will get? Del u by del x, del u by del y, del u by del z, del v by del x, del v by del y, del v by del z, del w by del x. So this you can write as vi comma del vi by del xj. So you see, this is I and j both can go from 1 to 3, and you are generating a matrix. Is it okay?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And I think I did it earlier also. Is it? Do you remember? So this is very important for us. You are taking derivative of this potential energy with respect to a vector, and your answer has to be a vector, which you are getting. So this trick you will do with everything. So this way you can find your. Now you want to take derivative of this term. So derivative of this term with respect to uk will be pk. So you'll find somewhere here corresponding to k you are having pk. Whatever is the force applied there. Similarly here, suppose you take bxu. Now you are here. This is this expression. So you can find that whatever is multiplying with u, suppose u100. So that term you will get as a derivative. If you take derivative of this with u100, whatever is multiplying with it will get there, and you will put it at 100th position. Do you understand what I mean? Vijendra Prasad, are you hearing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So you see, You have to find derivative of this with respect to these nodal displacements. So your derivative with nodal displacement, only u100 is there. So rest of the thing comes as your answer. If suppose you had u99, then if you take derivative with u100, you get a 0. So this way you will generate this vector, which is coming from the derivative of the potential terms. So this potential term derivative will generate the right hand side, and derivative of u will generate the left hand side stiffness matrix multiplied by unknown displacement field vector. So that's the trick of handling these problems. Any questions? Now we can do a simple example. What is a simple example we are doing? Suppose we have a rod. This is a rod. So it is rotating. We want to find displacements of these nodes. So we have a rod like this. Suppose we take two noded elements. So this is spinning like this. So this is my x-axis. Now I want to find displacement of node 1 and node 2. Suppose u1 is 0. So what is u2? And this rod is just spinning with angular velocity omega. So how will you do this problem? Any ideas? Anyone who can tell me how to go about it? I'm listening. How you will do it?
Sir, u2 will be corresponding to the change in theta, u cos theta.
Anything better? Anybody can say? I'm doing a mechanics of solid problem. So there is a material has length L, bar has length L, cross-sectional area A, Young's modulus E, and this rod is spinning about this origin. I want to find displacements. You know there will be some force. Anything going in a circle experiences centripetal force. From where is that force coming? If this thing has to go in a circle, what is causing the force? How is it going in a circle? You see anything going in a circle? Needs the force at the center. So there has to be a force towards the center. What is causing this force towards the center here?
So hinge, sir.
Yeah, the hinge is causing a force towards the center. So there is a force towards the center. Right now it is making a circle like this. So there have to be stresses. There has to be some stress here. Whatever is the reaction upon area. Take any position here. I did this problem, I think. Most problem to you guys. If there is an accelerating body, there are stresses. You see this part is, you see if you draw free body diagram of this part, this is going in a circle about the origin, its center of mass. What is the acceleration of the centripetal mass? This mass omega square into this distance. So what is this distance? If this distance is x and this total length is L, so this distance will be, so this distance is L minus x, this is x, so you have x plus L minus x by 2. So what is the sum of this? So this distance is equal to L plus x by 2. So this center of mass is making a circle with distance L plus x by 2 from the origin. So what is the centripetal force required to keep it in circle? So this is a centripetal force required. This is the mass of this. What is the mass of this? This mass is equal to, this length is, this total length is L minus x upon L into the total mass. So what is the force required to keep it in moving in a circle? M into L minus x by L into L plus x by 2. And this force will be exerted by internal forces here. So this is nothing but sigma into area. So you can find your stress. Divide by area. So this way you get stresses in the bar. And once there are stresses, you see, what is the type of the stress here? Is it tensile or compressive? Vijendra Prasad.
Tensile forces.
Yes,
It was tensile force.
it is a tensile. You see, force is in negative direction. Normal vector is in negative direction. So it becomes a tensile stress. So you are having tensile stress in this bar. So naturally, because of the stress, tensile stress, there will be stretching in the bar. So you want to find those displacements. Displacement U2 is some value. This point is fixed, so 0 value. So you want to find this change in length. So how do you go about doing it in FEM? So I told you the mechanics of solid solution of this. So in FEM, what you will do? Suppose I have two nodes. So these are the nodes. So you see there will be some force on this node, call it reaction. Now there is no force on this, external force on this node. Now, what is the strain energy? What is the strain energy of this bar? You will say half sigma xx epsilon xx, and you have to integrate over the volume. What is the volume? In this case, area into length. What is your stress? Young's modulus into U2 minus U1 by L. Similarly, strain here. So this is a strain energy expression. Now, what is the work done by body force? Now, you see there is a force here at each point. You take a small line length. You will find if you want this force to go in a circle. So this has a mass dm, and this distance is x. So what is the force required? Acceleration is omega square x. So this is the force required to keep it in circle. So you see there is a distributed force dependent on position. Now each element is suffering some force. So what are the forces on this element, Vijendra Prasad?
One is the stress, internal stress, and one is otherwise is the centripetal force.
So there are internal stresses. Okay.
Yes.
So there will be stresses here. Is there any other force except these stresses? Vijendra Prasad.
So this at this node we do not have another, no other force, sir.
Okay. So there are only internal stresses here on left face and right face. Are these stresses equilibrating or they are not equilibrating?
Sorry, sir.
Are these stresses, is this element in equilibrium or it is not in equilibrium?
This will be in equilibrium, sir.
Why this element is going around in a circle? How can it be in equilibrium? Hmm? Is it in equilibrium or it is not in equilibrium?
So in this direction in which we have equated the force is in equilibrium, the tangential component will be which is giving the force, sir.
If something goes in a circle, something is going in a circle at this point. What is the centripetal acceleration? It is in which direction?
Towards the center.
So this is in minus I direction. This is x. So this, you see, this entire thing is going in a circle like this.
Yes, sir.
So these forces are not in equilibrium. They are causing a net force towards the center.
Okay, sir.
Okay. What is the value of this force? What is the value of this?
Or this dm omega square x.
Very good. So this unbalanced force omega square x dm. Okay. And this force is acting towards the center. Now, what is the displacement of this element? Can you find displacement of this element? Yes. Suppose I am giving you u1, displacement of this element node is u1, this is u2. This length, distance is x, total length is L. Can you tell me displacement of this element?
X by L u2 minus u1.
So this will be, okay. This is what you are saying. Or u1 plus, okay. So rather we call it n1 u1 plus n2 u2. What is your n1?
1 minus x by L.
What is your n2? Okay, this is what you expect. Okay. So what is the work done by this unbalanced force? So there is a net force on this board, this element given by this. What is the work done by this net force? You see this force is acting in this direction and your displacement is in this direction. So you say work done by net forces. Can you say this is your work done?
Yes, sir, with negative direction, minus some.
There is a minus sign. So this is your work done by the net force. So what is your total potential? So this is your potential of external loads. So this is, how do you calculate pi? U minus W. So now you are having U plus omega square x n1 u1 plus n2 u2 dx. And this you have to integrate over the entire length. Now you want del pi by del u1, suppose. Strain energy you already calculated here. So this was your strain energy. So what is its derivative with u1? So you'll get half EA by L. This is u2 minus u1 whole square. So this is this into minus 1. Now you need derivative with u1 here. So you will get omega square x. So you take derivative with u1, you will be left with n1 dx. So this is EA by L, u1 minus u2, plus, now you have to integrate it. Omega square comes outside, x, what is your n1? 1 minus x by L. So this integration you have to do. So what is this integration? X square by 2 minus x cube by 3L. So you have to integrate from 0 to L. So what do you get? L square 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3. So what is this? L square by 3.
It will be L square by 6.
Okay, L square by 6. So you get L square by 6 as the answer. So what is here? Omega square. So here you see, you wrote omega square x dm. So dm, so So you wrote dx. So you have to also multiply with rho into area. Is it okay? So that makes it mass. So you rho into area. So omega square area, and instead of this L square by 6. Any problem? So here you will have. So this is your del pi by del u1. Now what is your del pi by del u2? So this has to be equal to 0. So this is like a plus equal to 0. So what is your equation? EA by L 1 minus 1 u1 u2 is equal to minus rho omega square A L square by 6. So the light on करना चाहो. Now you take derivative with respect to u2. Del pi by del u2. So what do you get? So you have to take its derivative with u2. So this is nothing but EA by L u2 minus u1. Then again here you take the derivative with u2, so it will give you n2. So this is nothing but omega square rho A, and your x n2 is x by L, x square by L dx. So this integral is omega square rho A x cube upon 3L, 0 to L. So what do you get? Omega square rho A x equal to L, L square by 3. So this should be equal to 0. So you get EA by L, and here you will have minus rho omega square A L square by 3. So you see what is the total body force if you sum it up? 1 by 3 plus 1 by 6. So this is nothing but 3 by 6. So this is the total body force if you add up the forces on node 1 and node 2. Now you see, try to find the total body force for the bar. So this bar is spinning about this point. So this distance is L by 2. So you will say center of mass is making a circle of this kind. So what is the force needed to make the center of mass go in a circle? M omega square into L by 2. So you see, same thing you are getting here. What is your M? M is equal to rho into A into L. So you're getting the same answer. So this is the amount of force needed towards the center. Vijendra Prasad, is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you can solve for U1 and U2. What are the U1 and U2? Now you see, since u1 is 0, so what do you get your equation? EA by L into u2 is equal to minus rho omega square A L square by 3. So one problem I am facing, my displacement should not be negative. It should have been positive because this bar is stretching and this is my positive x direction. So my displacement should have been outward in positive x direction. So anyone can tell what is the mistake made? So there is a problem of sign. Okay. What we do, we write a governing equation of motion. What is the governing equation of motion? Suppose you got a case of this bar hanging. It's a simple case of gravitational force. And you take this direction as x. So what do you say is your stresses? What is the equation of motion? This is sigma x plus comma x plus rho g. Can you say this is your equation of motion or equation of equilibrium? You take any element. So what are the forces on this element? They are stresses. So stress here is sigma xx. Here it is sigma xx. So stress on this face, sigma xx. Stress on this face, force is this, face is this. So what is our net force? Force here is on this face. You assume, call it you say this is a cross-sectional area is A. So force here is this sigma xx into A. So this force is also this if we are assuming constant cross-sectional area. So net force becomes this is per unit volume. This force is per unit volume. So this is the net force because of the stresses. And what is the downward force? Gravitational force. So that gravitational force is also rho g cross-sectional area into length. This is the volume. So per unit volume force, this is the equation. Sigma xx comma x plus rho g is equal to 0. So this is the equation of motion for this. So this is known as body force. If you want to generate equations, you multiply with some weighting function, integrate over the volume. So what do you get? So this is the way you generate your equations. Now I have got this case. Now you take an element. So you have got stresses. What is the force on this element? Because of the stresses, this is the force per unit volume. Now this force per unit volume is causing an acceleration. So rho into volume into this acceleration. If this distance is x, so this is the acceleration. Net force due to stresses is equal to mass into acceleration. And this acceleration is towards the center. So this will be minus. Net force. So you get sigma xx plus rho omega square x is equal to 0. So this is your equation of motion. Now if you multiply with shape function n and integrate over the volume, your right hand side is so this was your net force in x direction. This was equal to mass into acceleration. And this is towards the center. So you will see your body force is like this. This is और तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं था कुछ कहीं? So, could you think, see what is the problem? Vijendra Prasad? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys there?
Yes, yes, sir.
So, do you think you will get the right answer in this way? आधा घंटा लगेगा. Okay, another way of doing this thing is by virtual work principle. How do you do it with virtual work principle? You have got two nodes, 1 and 2. You have got displacement U1, U2. Then you say you apply virtual displacement 1 and 0. Then what is the virtual strain in this case? Minus 1 by L, because this is going inwards. This length is L. What is the actual strain? U2 minus U1 by L. So what is internal virtual work? Internal virtual work is actual stress. This is your actual stress multiplied by virtual strain, and this you have to integrate over this volume. Since this is a constant, so this is this internal virtual work. What is the external virtual work? You say there is a body force here. What is the body force? This is the expression for body force. So body force is rho omega square x. So this is known as body force. In this equation, sigma xx comma x plus rho omega square x is equal to 0. So this term is known as body force. So external virtual work is this body force. Into the displacement, virtual displacement. What is the virtual displacement here? Delta U is N1 delta U1 plus N2 delta U2. Now what is your delta U2? It is 0. So you get N1 into delta U1. Delta U1 is 1. So what is your N1? 1 minus x by L. So your virtual displacement is 1 minus x by L. You see, every point is moving a different displacement. These are nodal virtual displacements. Different points will move differently. And what body force on each point is different, depends on the distance from the fixed point. So this you have to integrate over the volume. So you get rho omega square. So this will be x square by 2 minus x cube by 3L. You take the limit 0 to L. So you are getting rho omega square. This is L square by 6. So external virtual work is equal to internal virtual work. So your internal virtual work is EA by L, 1 minus 1. So when you take virtual displacement as 0 and delta U2 as 1, you will get this equation. And here you will have rho omega square L square by 3. So you see, here you are getting the right sign. Virtual work, internal virtual work is equal to external virtual work. So this was your body force. So we have to see what mistake we made there. This was my total potential energy. Strain energy minus potential of external loads. This unbalanced force, I wrote like this.
Sir, when we calculated this work done by net force, that negative, should we take that negative sign to the calculation in pi value, or we should take the absolute value, sir? That could solve the problem, sir.
Look, the way equation has got a body force, it is showing body force as a, actually, what is happening is sigma xx comma x is equal to plus rho omega square x is equal to 0. This is our equation. So this is a body force. Now when I am doing like this, now you see this body force is outward. This is not inward towards the center. So I was saying my net force is equal to sigma xx comma x is equal to mass into acceleration, and this was minus rho omega square x. So this was my mass into acceleration per unit volume. Okay. So this, while what I did here, this mass into acceleration, I directly took here as the unbalanced force, as a body force. Basically, this force, when it goes to the left hand side, this becomes like an equilibrated body system. So we have imposed equilibrium. This is kind of a dynamic equilibrium. So this is not exactly an equilibrated situation. The mass is, this was an acceleration, mass into acceleration. When it goes to the left hand side, this becomes like a body force, keeping the system in equilibrium. So we have used this result from an equilibrated system. While we have used this unbalanced force as the actual force. So somewhere we have mixed two things. When we apply this pi concept to a dynamic system means where there is acceleration. If there is acceleration, there is velocity. So there things are treated differently. In this case, what we have assumed, that body is having an angular velocity omega. So every particle has got that velocity corresponding to this angular velocity omega. So there is no generation of velocity. So we are kind of taking it as an equilibrated state of state. And we are applying this pi principle as we apply to equilibrated systems. If we apply it to the dynamic system, it changes. We will see that how we use it for a dynamic situation. So there we have to consider kinetic energy term also. So that is why there is a problem here. So this force, which we have taken as inverse, we should have taken an opposite force called inertial force. Inertial force is a pseudo force. Whatever is the mass into acceleration, if you take it to the left hand side, it becomes minus ma. And it becomes like a left hand side is in equilibrium, because then you have sigma xx minus ma equal to 0. You see, now this force is kind of a pseudo force, which is kind of equilibrating the system. So here, this body force, we have to take negative of this force. If we had taken negative of this force, then you would have generated a plus sign here. And here you would have automatically got a plus sign. Now we did it here. This was our governing equation of motion. We multiplied with the shape function n. This was all right. This integral is equal to 0. Now we have to see what is the problem here. So this we will see now. So what is the, are you understanding, Vijendra Prasad?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So we take sigma xx comma x plus rho omega square x. This is all right. You understand these terms? These are all per unit volume forces. This is a net force. This is a body force. Now we say we multiply it with n, and we say over the length it should be 0. As it is over the volume. So if it is a uniform cross-sectional area, you take the area outside. Now you have got this equation n sigma xx comma x integral dx is equal to minus rho omega square x dx into your n. Let's see what went wrong. Now it is 0 to L. What will you get out of this integration? Any idea? Now you have got n sigma xx comma x. What is the sigma xx? E del u by del x. Now sigma xx comma x E d square u by dx square. Because we have to write everything in terms of displacements. So what do I get? N into E d square u by dx square dx integral. So if you integrate it, what do you get? You can take E outside the integral sign. This integral will be n du by dx 0 to L minus dn by dx du by dx. This is full integral. Any doubts, Vijendra Prasad?
No, sir.
This, what do you call this process? Integration by parts.
Parts.
So n into sigma xx is this, comma this is this, E du by dx, and du by dx, take that, push the differentiation to n. This is what you get. Now this is equal to E. So this is now what is this term? Dn by dx, and this becomes ui dni by dx. This is your du by dx. Any problem with this?
Yes, sir.
Now you take n is equal to n1. What is your n1? 1 minus x by L. These are your weighting functions. So first time you take this as n1. So what do you get? What is the value of this n1? At x is equal to L. What is this value? 0 at x is equal to L. Vijender, do you understand? This is shape function of node 1. At position L, what is the value here? Shape function N1? 0. Shape function N2 is 1.
Yes, sir.
So you get a value of 0 at x equal to L. At x equal to 0, you get 1. So you get E du by dx. At this is at x equal to 0. Minus now dn by dx. What is dn by dx? Now your n is n1 minus 1 by L. So u1 dn1 by dx minus 1 by L plus u2 1 by L. So this you have to integrate over the length. Since it's a constant, you can just multiply with L. So everywhere you have to multiply with E. You can also multiply with A. Okay. If any doubts, you let me know. Now, what is this EA du by dx at 0? So this is nothing but, what is this value? Sigma xx at x equal to 0. Hello? Hello? Yes? No, no, madam, I'm not interested in any insurance. So you see, what is this value? This is nothing but stress at x equal to 0. So this is A. So this becomes force. So you got sigma xx here. You multiply it with the area, you get the force. What am I doing? There is also a minus sign. You see, here at x equal to L, it was 0. So there is a minus sign also. Any doubt?
No, sir.
So you get, what is this value of the force? So you are getting a force in this direction. And if you say this is a reaction force, that there is a force here called reaction. And this is actual force. In this case, it is nothing. There is a reaction force at the node 1. So that was stress into area. And this force was inward. And if you say your force is R in this direction, these two have to be equal. This you can write as minus R. Minus R plus this L cancels with this L. You get AE by L. And then you get U2 by L. Sorry, U2 minus U1. So this is the first equation. And on the right hand side, you are having, this was your left hand side. What you are having on the right hand side? What we calculated earlier. This we had calculated earlier, and this was coming to be rho omega square L square by 6. So this is what you were getting earlier. There was a minus sign and minus rho omega square L square by 6. So what is our equation? EA by L U2 minus U1 R minus rho omega square L square by 6. Similarly for the, you see, so there is a minus sign here. So you had a minus 1 plus 1. Similarly here you will have if you calculate this one, maybe you will get like this. Okay. So you see there is a minus here. Now you can write it as, if you multiply the first equation with the minus sign, so you will get 1 minus 1 U1 and here you will get similarly. So what mistake we made here? Also we missed the R. There is an R here. So we have to take internal virtual work, external virtual work of this R also. You see here external virtual work of R also. So when you are taking displacement at this point, delta U1 is 1. So external virtual work because of this reaction R will be R. So you will have plus R also. And while in the second case, there won't be any external virtual work because of this R. Because this is U1 is 0, delta U1 is 0. So you will get plus R into 0. So here again we have made some mistake. We should have got plus R. Okay. So I will ask you guys to check it out. This is a very important problem. And you have to see whatever the mistakes made and how to fix them. Is it okay, Vijayendra Prasad? And submit it as an assignment. You have to do this problem in all 3 ways. Virtual work principle, total potential energy method, and weighted residual method. All 3 methods you do it, and I will share it with you guys so that you can think over it. So this is quite a representative problem, and you come to know what mistakes you made. And you have to resolve those mistakes. Anybody? Any questions? You have to see the problems in sign, where we made what mistake. and how to fix it in future. Are you there, Vijendra Prasad?
Yes, sir.
So we are calling it off for today. Okay. And
Okay,
I
sir.
share the recording as well as
Okay. Thank you, sir.